This place literally has the best cinnamon rolls I've ever had.
I've heard of them.
You've heard of these?
I've never had them before.
Oh my God.
I had a friend who told me that I need to come here and get them. So
I always
I'm glad
just take
to
it with a
see.
grain of salt whenever somebody says that's the best of anything.
Me too.
But this place, I didn't even know it was the best. I just tried it. Oh my God. We're here not only to talk on podcast, but yeah, yesterday was a good night.
Yes.
You know, obviously creators love getting together and they had a great time. The one thing that was unique, and it wasn't just at the event though, it's just how many creators are struggling with something,
Oh yeah.
but there was kind of one theme that they're struggling with, which is always a thing, but it was in a unique how they were struggling with it. It was views. They're struggling with views, but in different ways, and it's almost like their perception's messed up. Like they don't understand what is going on. Of course, everyone does, and no one wants low views.
Oh, totally.
But it's just how they're perceiving the views. It's not always their own views. It's also looking at other people's views and like comparing it to themselves. So, I mean, what'd you find? You said you talked to creators too at the event?
Yeah, I mean, literally the first person I talked to, I asked them what their main platform is. They mentioned short form, and that they started during the pandemic. Classic story, right? Started during the pandemic, started to blow up then, got a lot of traction on like TikTok and Instagram. The thing that I heard was that they were starting on YouTube. A lot of people said, well, the first person said, this is the year. This is the time to do it. They had the instinct that they needed to make the transition in their own journey, right? But I heard it to every single creator that was making that exact same shift, right? Either people who said, I was on short form, I'm going to long form, or I'm jumping into long form head first, basically, and it's discouraging is the word that I heard over and over again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, especially if you're going from another platform to YouTube, it's always going to be discouraging. It's always going to be different. Rarely. I mean, there's definitely those cases.
It's good.
It's really good. There's definitely those unique cases where some people just, they succeed right out of the gates. But there's always a learning curve, but especially with short form to long form. But what's unique though is even creators on the platform, so you even mentioned this, people that have been around on YouTube for a long time, they're also experiencing it. And it goes back to what I told you my friend said. He knows that views are down for long form in general for a lot of people.
Yes.
Because short form is taking up at least 50% of the attention.
Yep.
It's
even
50,
on YouTube now.
Yeah, 50% of, yeah, exactly. Even more so going to affect YouTube creators.
Yeah.
Because before you had a choice to go on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. Now, even on YouTube, those short form creators are taking over more of the real estate. So it's screwing up with people's preconceived notions or maybe expectations of the kind of views they're used to get or they know they can get. And I was talking to another creator, had nothing to do with that event. I was just texting him. I'm a fan of his content. So I sent him a screenshot of a video that I really liked. Now, of his, right? He's this epic creator. I didn't know it, but his view count was way low on it. I didn't even think of it. I was just giving him flowers, praising him like, dude, only someone like you can make a video like this, right? And his text back to me was like, oh my God, this like hurt me. This hurt me to see the view count on that video because it was so low compared to his other ones, right? He's like, I can't even look at views anymore because it like messes me up. And then I respond to him with all his high view count videos, right? But it told me something. I was like, wow, people are almost like scared to look at their YouTube at the same time as new creators going from short form are kind of like anxious about the views that they're going to get, especially if it's like so low compared to their million views on a TikTok.
Exactly.
And that, I thought, is both just the reality, but it's a huge problem
Well, I'm curious to hear more about that, like from your perspective, because you've been around the block, right? And there have been different ways that views have meant different things to YouTube and therefore YouTubers, right? And so it makes me wonder, like you talked about the different types of views that like short form gets versus long form, but you could even say that there's different type of views within long form, right? Like the video that you loved as a, like I'm assuming a fan of his, right? Was a different type of view than a video that would have popped off in terms of view count alone, right? So I'm curious about like what you think about the tension between those things as someone who like is just kind of figuring it out from the like strategic side.
It goes back to what you said that creators are going through right now, which is they have an instinct that, hey, we need to get onto YouTube right now. There's a change happening. This is the year. Well, when there's a ton of change, there's just a volatility that happens. Okay, we're gonna talk about it later, but TikTok ban. So think if you're a TikTok creator, you're like, oh my God, if it gets fully banned, I am screwed.
Yeah.
So you have to be on the next biggest platform, which arguably could be either Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. I think it's YouTube Shorts, and not just because I'm biased, but because they're showing that there's the numbers and there's the growth.
Yes.
Plus, ultimately, YouTube always pays better. So that's just one thing that's happening. Secondly, now you've got a mix of two different formats on YouTube that creators never had to deal with at this high of a level.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the third, I think this is the third thing, the new wave of YouTube. So it's such a mixed bag of variables that creators can't wrap their head around it. See, before the community, especially when I was starting, it was so small, but now it's so big that this thing that's happening way over here could be affecting what you're doing over here, but you can't see that.
Yeah.
It's just so spread out, which I think is great for YouTube, but I think the wisdom that I get from all of it is, even more so, you really have to kind of stay in your own lane, keep your eyes on your own path, and not let even what's happening in your world derail you from moving forward. Because you know what I was at the point I was trying to make on that one guy, right? The guy that I text, I said, dude, love what you're doing. And then the first thing he says, like, oh, I can't believe how low the views are, right? My first thought was he has a lot of hit videos up. Ones that are like 1 million views. I'm like, dude, any creator will love this. He's just focused on these one other views. I think that if you want every single one of your videos to hit hard and be high view count, you have to go 100% quality, which means you don't get in the reps. But see, someone like him, I think that he's not just doing it for the sake of reps and volume. He's doing it because he actually thinks these are great videos, but the market is determining this is the one that, you know, like stands out, and these other ones that aren't getting as many views aren't as interesting as another option. You have to kind of take that with a grain of sand, because that's not a reflection of you as a creator.
No, totally.
It's just literally the vast amount of options on YouTube now.
Yeah, the algorithm, the competition, and everything like that. And that is a part of the game. Don't want to underplay that, right? But I think it goes back to what we talk about a lot, is that you need to have kind of the internal drive first, and then focus on the strategy second in a lot of ways. Because if it's not sustainable for you in terms of the actual creation part, which is what everything else flows from, then it doesn't matter, right? So I guess I want to put a pin in that quantity versus quality thing. We should come back to that. But I do want to ask you, for the like, I bet you if we were in the event again last night, replaying it, if I was able to sit down with you and talk to some of those creators, they would all ask, like, what should I do when I feel discouraged? Okay? Now, you can take the motivational standpoint, but I'm actually wondering about more tactically. Should they care about the view count and the subscriber count and the growth rate? Or what should be the first thing that these people that are making the jump, what should they focus on?
The advice is the same,
Is it
but
really?
there's two completely different sides of it. As a beginner, you can't play the comparison game at all, because you don't know where those people come from. You don't know what they've been doing for 10 years. You don't know if they've got promoted by other people. You don't know anything about other people's channels, and you're just starting out. It's just like anything. There's not only a learning curve, it might just take a while. that was what was unique about short form. People were like popping up very quickly, but
Yeah.
we know that wasn't 100% organic. It was part of TikTok's algorithm. People say, hey, let's crank up the
Oh, yeah.
switch and make this person feel a little bit good.
I
It's like
forgot about
give a
that.
little bit of a dopamine hit.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you have to, and I'm not discounting that they're amazing creators. They
totally.
are, especially if they kept consistent. Because just because they crank it up doesn't mean you'll have it sustained, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But different on YouTube because it's so competitive. Now, on the other side of that, the seasoned creators, you can't look at your numbers and take them too seriously either. Meaning, so like this guy like. What I'm saying is both the beginner creator don't have any kind of comparison about other people's
Yes,
numbers, right?
yeah.
So it means like even your own numbers, don't take that too seriously. And the same thing with a seasoned creator. You can't let the ups and downs, the volatility of like this video hits really hard and this one doesn't do so well too seriously because there's way more variables than there ever was.
Yeah.
Even for someone like me or this person who's been in it for years and years, and in some cases over a decade, we just never dealt with quite a dynamic like world. But
Yeah.
on the flip side of all that, this is what would hurt. But it's the truth. Everybody has to look at the numbers. You
At the end of the day, though, is what you're
you
saying.
have to look at the numbers.
Yeah.
So the beginner, that's just starting out. So these short form people that are getting into long form, especially on YouTube, though I say don't play the comparison game, you have to look at your numbers and be comfortable in whatever that is and look at the data you're getting back. Because you know what? Okay, let's just take an example of one of the creators gets hundreds of thousands of views on their TikTok, right? Instagram, maybe 50 to 100,000 views, and they're used to getting 1 million or 10 million viral hits once in a while.
Yeah.
Go on YouTube, nothing. But say they're getting 1,000 views
Yeah.
or 2,000 views. Well, then the question is, why did this one get 1,000? Why did this one get 2,000? There is secrets in there. There is wisdom in there that you can extrapolate.
Yes.
But if you just purely compare it to someone else that you don't know what their circumstance or resources, know-how is, and they're getting 100,000, 1 or 2,000, you just kind of group them together as like they're
Yes.
both failures compared to this other person's high number versus like ask a question, the difference between the 1,000 and the 2,000.
Yes.
I actually think there's even bigger variation. This person probably has 1,000 views on most of their shorts, but then once in a while gets one that's at 10,000.
Yeah.
And you literally ask like, why is this one getting 10,000, right? Now, if they're going full long form, same thing, even if the difference in numbers are even less, like say it's like, let's say it's like 1,000 views compared to like 1,500 views. Well, there's reason why there was 500 more people. And it might not even be in the content. It's like, when did you upload?
Yeah.
What was your title and thumbnail? What, was there something different you did? Did you like promote this? Did you not promote it, right?
Yeah.
Did you like collaborate with a certain person? Now,
Yes.
see, they're looking at the big picture and letting that kind of influence their feelings versus looking at all those little elements
Yes.
and thinking, okay, what was I? It's like when
What
you're
can be tweaked? What can be changed?
it's like when you're
What
cooking a
makes it hit?
recipe.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're making a recipe, there's lots of different ingredients.
Yes.
One ingredient can really make or break a dish,
Yes.
okay? But it isn't that the dish sucks. It's like
Yes.
this ingredient just doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah.
So start thinking about ingredients. Now, on the other side of that, the big time creator, even though I say take it with a grain of salt, don't take it too seriously, you still have to have the stomach to look at your numbers and other people's numbers
Yeah.
and start reading why are they getting those views.
There's always something to be learned, right? But if you're doing that too early without focusing on yourself first, is what you're saying, is that then you can knock yourself off course immediately before you even establish what you even are, is what you're saying, right?
You have that's basic creative 101 for
Yeah,
beginners.
that's true. But it's easy to forget. People forget that.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But the seasoned creator, they have to now start reading YouTube a little bit differently. A lot of the fundamentals, all of the things that worked
yeah.
before are changing. Like
Yeah.
we talk about the new wave. People like vlogging content.
Yeah.
People like more relaxed content. less produced content, stuff that's just longer in general. I just uploaded a video, right? Okay, this is a good example. I have to eat my own advice. I've been uploading less to my food channel.
Yes.
Because I've been testing things out. I'm
Yes.
like trying to level up now. I'm doing longer videos. So I think I uploaded a 41-minute vlog.
Whoa.
I haven't ever done a 41-minute vlog,
Yeah.
okay? That video actually didn't do that well. Like it probably got like
In terms of views, is what you're saying.
views,
Yeah.
right? It got a little bit less than the average views, but guess what? The audience retention was crazy high. That
You know what's
video,
funny?
that video,
Same thing on my channel. I just uploaded a 44-minute. It was like same
Yeah.
time. So we didn't even talk about this. High audience retention, lower views, which is like fascinating that is what is hitting. But it fits all the trends you and I have talked about. Longer view sessions, relaxed editing, TV watching, all of those things play into that. Right?
somebody brought up this really good perspective. They said, Benji, think about all the shorts or TikToks you watched last week. Do you remember any of them? Do you literally like think about any of them? Do
you
they
kind of enter like a trance almost when you're watching. Yeah.
Did they stay in your memories? Does it change in your life? And I was like, honestly, no. I can't even remember literally one of those that I watched.
It speaks volumes. It really does.
But on the flip side, this person that watched my video for 14 minutes, I mean, like if you just do it at 60-second intervals, that's 14 different TikToks, 14 different YouTube shorts.
All at the same time.
And so the question is, well, what's better, having high view count, low audience retention, or having lower view count but higher audience retention?
That's
Now, I
interesting.
would say it's not one or the other, it's a little bit of both. But right now we're going through some major growing pains,
Yeah.
both as a platform and as creators.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I say I have to eat my own advice, of course I could look at the view count like, oh man, that sucks. But I'm thinking, okay, my core viewers probably, or the ones that love that content specifically, are hanging out for 14 minutes. That's almost a sitcom level show.
Or even more. Even
What?
more than that, right? Wait, 14 or 41 minutes?
14 minutes. Yeah.
Is that the average time or is that
Yes. Yeah. No, the
But think
video
about
is
what that
40
means.
Yeah.
Your core audience is probably hanging on even longer
more.
than that, right? And they're skewing that number up because you're catering to people who really are there for you and for your content, right?
We've talked about this, right?
Yes.
That foundational
Yes.
fandom, and
Your
always
best fan or your best fan.
So going back to this seasoned creator, right? His numbers are like, we're talking like 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, and once in a while he'll get that one that's like flirting with 1 million.
pops off.
But all those ones, including the one that I showed him, and I kind of feel bad because when I look back at that one only had like 40,000 views, even though I loved it. And that's the point. I'm probably one of his bigger super fans, and I love that. And I was
Exactly.
praising him because I have his phone number. So I was
Yes.
like direct text messaging him, said, dude, only you can make an epic video about
But you
this.
see it in the comments too, right? People who are your super fans, when they make one of those videos that just hits for them, right? Not necessarily in terms of the pure view numbers, but for your core audience, they're in the comments saying, I need more like this. I love this. You need to do more of this stuff. I'm here for this. I'm so glad you did this. It's the best one I've seen, right? It's just totally different.
I think it's because ultimately YouTube is just sharing more videos to more viewers.
I would agree, yeah.
Because how many times have I seen like a brand new channel that's got 100 views show up, and frankly half of them like I would never
even
click on
good,
this.
yeah.
I'm looking at the thumbnail, but I'm not going to click on it.
Yeah.
Once in a while I'll look at it, right? And so you're dealing with all of that as well.
Yes.
And is it good or bad? I guess we'll just have to see.
I mean, yeah, it's playing out now.
But you know what I think, and this would go into the next topic. I think this should be another podcast about TikTok being banned.
Oh,
if
I
that
totally
is good
agree.
or bad, and what's kind of the outcome of it. But I'll tell you this: when you just compare YouTube and TikTok, and even YouTube against all other platforms, there's more people staying on YouTube and wanting to be on YouTube. In spite of all the challenges, in spite of it being difficult, in spite of people's view counts going down or going up and down and
Yes.
being crazy, compared to more people are leaving the other platforms, no matter what the conversation is there on the benefits, because people are making their money. People are making money there, brand deals,
Totally.
whatever. Maybe it's not AdSense. People are building influence. They are getting views, and they are starting businesses. But right now, if I'm being very objective, YouTube is pulling in creators, and the other platforms are pushing away creators.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it's always been that way.
And YouTube isn't pushing away anything.
Yeah.
It's just people are like, what is going on? They're trying to figure it out. And so for me, when I hear the conversations and I'm listening to what creators saying, both in that event, which was all YouTube creators or people that aspire to be YouTube creators, and then my friends that are on YouTube, like other YouTubers, everybody's struggling with views. They just don't know exactly why. And even me, I don't know exactly why, but I know that it's universal.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of one creator I know was like, views are amazing.
Yeah.
100%, it's super easy. I know exactly what to do. Everybody has questions more than ever.
Yes. Let me kind of try and bring this home a little bit here. And I want to go back to what we put the pin in, which is the quality versus quantity thing, right?
Yeah.
That goes for views and it goes for the videos, I think, is what I'm coming away with this way, right? You talk about getting the reps in versus making high quality stuff, right? But it's also true that when you make those things, it's not just about the quality of the video itself or the amount of work you put into the video. In a lot of ways, it's about the quality of the relationship that you're building with your audience. So when we talk about our best fans, right, the people who come there every day, spending 41 minutes of their day with you, watching you cook something, right? Those
It's a shopping video. Consumerism.
Sure. Shopping, whatever it may be, doing something food related. That is what matters right now, especially during hard times, I think. When you tap the well that you can keep coming back to, the people who are there for you and will always be there for you, it's good to go. Now, I will say, for a new creator on YouTube, that might be kind of scary, because who is your core audience, right? But if I were to anticipate, I want to bounce this off you would say, that's why you get in the reps, to figure out who it is that you're speaking to in the first place, right? Like, we talk about vlogging all the time, right? As a good way to get into the YouTube side, because it's low cost, high upside potentially, right? And not only that, it speaks to an audience that you want to reach. So you're cultivating your audience from the beginning, rather than putting all this time and effort to try one thing and then have it flop. That is what hurts the most, right? So I don't know if you would agree with that,
for sure.
but that's kind of what I'm coming away with.
Man, I'm just so boring in my advice. The reason reps are so important for the beginner is because reps just give you the practice.
Yeah.
It lets you go through the act of creating content and then putting it up there. Secondly, it gives you data that you receive back, good or bad.
Yeah.
But if you have no data to receive, you don't know what's working and what's not working.
Yes.
Okay? And then third thing is, eventually you're helping the algorithm, YouTube, figure out who you're supposed to be out there.
Yes.
It's giving them more options. It's
Yes.
rather than just having one menu item in your restaurant menu, you have a whole bunch.
Yes.
Right? Some people aren't into that one menu item, but they might be into other things. So they don't know if they should go into that restaurant until they see it. Versus if you just had one menu item,
Yes.
though it might kind of seem like cool because you're like, I'm a badass, I only serve this one thing. The reality is you need like a whole menu to attract different people.
Yes.
And then over time, they figure out, hey, this is my regular spot.
Yes.
Your YouTube channel is this exact same way.
Yes.
And you're helping YouTube's algorithm when you put up reps. And I'd say the fourth thing, though, is you don't realize it, but even if it's only 100, every time you do those reps, you're giving them something, the people that want to watch you, something to watch versus watching someone else's thing.
So true.
No.
Yeah.
I say that still needs to be a certain level of quality. It can't be crap. Because
totally.
like for example, the restaurant, right?
Yes.
Say they're coming because like one person comes to your restaurant because they like your soup, but another person comes because they love your cinnamon rolls, okay? But like say like one day you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna add more to my menu and just put it all out there, and then like you use salt instead of sugar on your cinnamon rolls, and it's like horrible. And then the soup, maybe it was too watered down. Those people might forgive you one time, but highly likely they're not going to figure it out at all. They're
That's
like,
so
oh,
true.
that's so bad, right?
Yeah.
So it's not saying that quality is important, but
Yeah, your reputation matters.
but the reps is what's going to keep people coming back because you have something. Now I got to finish this rant on the seasoned creator, okay? The question I just said, I said, well, hey, there's a reason why the videos that hit get a lot of views and these other ones are getting less views. The ones that hit, the market is saying, YouTube saying, this was a good video.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's in YouTube's best interest to put the good videos out there and get the views.
Yes.
Because it keeps people's attention, better audience retention. But even the videos that don't, think about it. Every time you're putting those up there, it's for that core group of audience that you kind of need. We found as a creator, you need when things change.
Yes.
Because they're there not even for your content or channel, they're there for you as a creator.
Exactly.
Like, they're fans of you, whatever you have to say, your opinion. That's what is crazy about like doing reps on YouTube, because people don't understand every one of those is another hangout session at that restaurant.
That's so true.
And the more times you show up there, as long as it's a good enough, the more they're gonna like you and eventually love you.
All right, let's finish with some takeaways. The first one for me was thinking about the quality and where you're applying quality. We talked about it, quality of videos, and quality within a video. You talked about breaking it down and applying quality to different things. So an example might be having high value quality for yourself, like high return on investment every single time. So instead of it taking hours at a time to edit, maybe you're honing your skill in storytelling, right? And you're practicing getting better at storytelling over time, right? The second piece of quality is quality of relationship with your audience. Your best fans are the most important ones to reach in that way. And the third one that goes with both of those is reps, because reps force you to figure out where you can apply quality consistently, and it grows what is most important, which is your core audience, which are the ones that will keep you afloat when times are tough.
For sure. And then going back to kind of the original issue that we were talking about is people are seeing their views fluctuate, or some people aren't seeing enough views, especially beginners, and then seasoned creators are feeling like their views are going down. Well, you have to just remember, like, it's not quantity or quality, it's both, but knowing when you lean more on the quality side versus the quantity side. As a beginner, you have to do quantity, I think, to figure out what works. When you start getting to the quality where you like start seeing consistent amount of views on your thing, then you can go more towards the quality. But don't totally forego the reps,
No,
even
definitely.
at the risk that some of them don't hit hard, because it's for your core audience.
That's right.
The person, I really do believe this. Like Mark Rober, you know that guy, right?
know,
He
I love
does
Rober.
one video a month,
Yes.
and it gets millions of views. Good for him, and he's a superstar.
Yes.
But then the YouTuber that only gets 10,000 views a video, but literally uploads every single day, I would argue, has a more hardcore fan base that would literally do anything. And then you times that by 12 months.
Yes.
Or 2 or 3 years.
Yes.
Now, I mean, it's not easy for anybody to do that every single day, but it's interesting. I'll end with this. I would say our youth, when I say youth, right? Anybody under 20 years old are really going to define the future of this platform.
100%.
And I recently talked to a friend of mine who brought his son into my studio, and I asked this kid who watches a lot of YouTube and TikTok, right? Said, who's your number one favorite creator? And he said the name of this guy, and I looked at his videos. It's just him sitting in front of a computer, like PewDiePie style, very like old Mr. Beast style.
Wow.
No editing. It's just him sitting around. And he said, oh, what do you like about it? It's like, oh, I just love like hearing his thoughts on things. Guess how many times he uploads?
Got to be every day?
Every
maybe?
single day.
There you go.
And I said, do you watch his videos no matter what? He goes, oh, no matter what. Like if I see his video uploads, I watch his videos. This is a kid, just a random kid. And it's not like defining all viewers.
Yeah.
But it really spoke to me that this kid
Yes.
who could watch Mr. Beast videos, Mark Rober videos, all kinds of crazy edited stuff, like just watching the guy that uploads opinion videos every single day versus the ones that are highly produced. And it could purely just be because of the mere exposure effect. Just because he is in his life every single day.
Yeah.
And so, again, the strategies are going to differ depending on your business model, what you're trying to achieve. But I do think, even if you're a Mark Rober, the mistake is not giving your core audience something to nibble on in between.
Yes.
And so it's a balance. You have to create your own balance And the biggest, I guess, like biggest advice I give the creators, and I have to remind myself of this, those ones starting out and seasoned creators, the focus right now is serving your core audience during these kind of questionable times.
Yes.
Because that is what's going to make you a superstar when things are settled back down.
Yes.
When like the sand has, the dust has settled and there's a little more clarity. Because if you abandon those people just to get those big hit videos, you're just serving this trend or this viral hit, and those people are going to find someone else who talks to their computer every single day and builds a relationship, and you're going to be left kind of like refiguring it all out, and that is a huge mistake.